everybody. So good to see you all here today. Thanks so much for being here in the Daily Antidote of Song Day 1000 and something or another, 1075. Thank you, Carolyn in Boise, Idaho. Today is day 1075 in the Daily Antidote of Song. For anybody who's new today, we do this every single day at noon Eastern Time. One song, one sing-along song for all of you to join in on, some chat time, some building of community every single day. And we are so delighted that you've joined us today. Let's give a thanks to Carpe Diem Arts for hosting this program. And a big thanks, of course, to today's amazing hosts, Stephen Winick and Jennifer Cutting, coming in from the Library of Congress American Folklife Center, or actually coming in from Tacoma Park, but never mind, virtual. And I'm so glad they're here today. What we're doing now is we're doing Archive Challenge Thursdays this month in the Daily Antidote of Song. And Jennifer and Steve will tell you a lot more about the Archive Challenge, the American Folklife Center, the Library of Congress, and other things. Let's also shout out our guest today, Melanie DeMore, coming in from California. Can't wait to sing with you, and we will be back to you in just a moment. Let's say hi to everybody in the room. Please help me, everybody. Oh, wait, first let's say hi to all the folks on the live stream. Hi, live stream. Glad you joined us today. And hi, Jaden, running the tech from Silver Spring. Thank you so much for being here today. Hello to Betsy. Nice to have you with us today. Not sure where you're coming from. I think you're new. We're glad you're here. Martha in Oregon, hello. Laris in the UK. Nice to see your smile today. Hello to Jacqueline in Baltimore. Nice to see you today. Carolyn in Boise. Glad you're here. Arlene in California. Dr. Jim Thorne. Glad you're here today. Nice to see you again. Linda, nice to have you today. Maybe new. Joanne, nice to have you today. That's my name too. And not sure where you're from, but we're glad you're here. Bob in Albany, nice to see you today. Kate in Charlottesville. Kate Munger was here yesterday. Friend of Melanie DeMore's. She sang us a fabulous song yesterday. If you missed it, Jaden will pop the link into the chat so you can go see it after we leave here today. Bonnie in Idaho, thanks for being here today. Nice smile. Hello to Anne. Nice to see you again. Pauline and William in Newcastle, UK. Glad to have you. Kim in BC. Nice to see you. Susan in Ohio. Peter Amadon, one of our singers, song leaders, is here today, and one of our hosts from Brattleboro, Vermont. So happy to see you. The hat looks smashing. And we love Peter with no beard. It's so beautiful. Cricket, hello. Nice to see you today from Maryland. Curly Top Willard, nice to have you here from Vermont. Leah in Illinois. Kevin in DC. And Deborah in Kentucky. Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State. I have a great idea. Let's all take a breath. Okay, I'm cheating because that was really for me. Sheila in Florida, thank you so much. Glad to see you. Kathleen in Albuquerque. Hi, Terry. Nice to have you back again. I think from Pennsylvania. Susan in Seattle. Gary in Massachusetts. Deli in Maryland. Bronwyn in Victoria. Aloysius in Westford, Mass. Harriet in Chicago. Linda in Orcas Island. Julie in Ontario. Kathy in McLean, Virginia. Hoda in British Columbia. Amanda and Miles in Michigan. Fred in Silver Spring, Phil in Totnes, UK. Nice to see you. Isabel in Florida. Hello to Carol Moran and whoever Carol's friend is. Let's all wave at Carol's friend. Hi, Carol's friend. Hello, Nancy Schimmel, another one of our singer-song leaders. Nice to have you here today. Annette in California, Carol in Connecticut, someone on an iPhone, and lots of folks off video today. We're going to actually catch all of you on the goodbye end. And Morrison, Nashville, hi, because I'm going on too long, but I'm really glad you guys are all here, and please stick around for the goodbyes. Throwing it over to Jen and Steve, Jennifer Cutting, Stephen Winick, Library of Congress, American Folklife Center. Welcome. We're so glad we're back in here with you guys.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone. So we hope you saw Figgy the Archive Cat a moment ago. He was on my lap and when I was sitting back there, but he's jumped down and run away, so we hope he'll be back sometime. But just to introduce ourselves, I'm Stephen Winick. This is my colleague Jennifer Cutting, and we're folklife specialists at the American Folklife Center of the Library of Congress. I was trained as a folklorist, Jennifer as an ethnomusicologist, and we are privileged to work at the American Folklife Center, which is sort of our national folklore archive and study center. We want to welcome you to the third of 5 Archive Challenge Thursdays in March on the Daily Antidote of Song, when the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress will partner with Carpe Diem Arts to bring you a new archival gem from our archive every Thursday in March.
So I never usually tell my age, but I'm going to tell you today. Here's how old we are. The Library of Congress was established in 1800. When President John Adams signed a bill moving the U.S. Capitol from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. And of course, Congress needed a legislative library. So we're officially the country's oldest federal cultural institution. And we're also the largest library on planet Earth. So the American Folklife Center is just one small division of the library. We're only about 28 people, and the library staff is about 3,200 people. So we're about 1% of the staff of the library, but we're small, but we're mighty. And I try to, every Archive Challenge Thursday, give you a fun fact about the Library of Congress. So here's today's fun fact. Approximately half of the library's book and magazine collections are in languages other than English. So the collections contain materials in some 470 different languages. So whatever your mother tongue is, or whatever your second language is, we are bound to have research materials for you.
So in addition to maintaining an archive of about 7 million items, plus providing reference services and producing concerts and lectures and symposia, blogs and podcasts, which is mostly my job, one of the fun things we do at the American Folklife Center is the Archive Challenge, where we invite artists to learn a song from our collections and put their own spin on it. And we're going to be telling you about the various contexts in which we do that a little bit later. And a little bit more about our featured field recording. So we hope you'll have a little time to stay with us after the song itself. But we wanted to get everyone singing as soon as possible, and so we are going to introduce Melanie DeMore. Melanie was born in the Bronx. She was raised in Anchorage, she says, and she loved being one of the only Black folk singers in Taos, New Mexico for a while. So those are all little fun facts about Melanie. But now she works facilitating singing for large groups, small groups, all kinds of groups. She's a magnificent singer. She has a great interest in the Gullah culture that she'll be telling us about today. And so we're just going to introduce her and let her take us away with a little introduction of herself and with the song.
Good day, fam. I'm so glad to see everybody. Let me see your grinning, beautiful faces. And to understand that we have this incredible opportunity to share music together. And I always think and I always say that song and music, that's all medicine, baby. It's all medicine. So what we're going to be doing today is Little Johnny Brown, which is a Gullah children's song. And in a lot of the Gullah stuff, it's call and response. And so you'll hear me do my part, and you're so I might go fold another corner, and your response is Johnny Brown. Now have it memorized. There will be a quiz at the end. Johnny Brown. So whatever I say, your response is Johnny Brown. But you have to do it with a lot of attitude and a lot of sauce. Hello, Betsy Rose. Nice to see you. And of course, Kate Munger, who I adore. Anyway, so that's the whole thing. And so in this, I'm just going to sing it down for you so you get a chance. And it's a children's song. And you'll notice in the lyrics, there's one of the verses that goes, "Take it to your lover." A lot of this has been changed for elementary school, but in the folks, they didn't change any of that stuff because that's just life, okay? So, the beginning. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Comfort is a blanket. So you put the blanket down on the ground, so you'll know that. Spread your comfort down. So little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort. Do not leave a sister hanging, okay? Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. So you can sing that with me. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. It's the blanket, okay? Spread, so little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Now, fold another corner, Johnny Brown. Fold another corner, Johnny Brown. Fold another corner, Johnny Brown. First one is up, second one is down. And fold, because you got your comfort, you got the blanket. Fold another corner, Johnny Brown. Okay? Now, You want to make sure it's greasy as possible. Greasy, greasy, greasy. And there's, you can stomp, which is really good because it's a dance. It's a thing. It's a thing. Here we go. Take it from the beginning. Are we ready? I can't tell. Let me see you. Nod your head. Excellent. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Fold another corner, Johnny Brown. 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 Take it to your lover, 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 Johnny Brown. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down, oh Lord. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Take it to your lover, Johnny Brown. 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 And lope like a buzzard, Johnny Brown. 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 Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Well, Lord, little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Lope like a buzzard, Johnny Brown. 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 And that's how it goes. Yes. There's so much joy in it, and as you can see, a lot of times in the Gullah music tradition, as it starts to feel real good, the tempo picks up.
Yep, the tempo of my pulse picked up, and that definitely woke me up today. Thank you, Melanie.
You are
I
welcome.
need that. So let me give you a little bit of background on this song and collection, because there's a lot. We won't go on long enough to bore you, but hopefully just a little enough to make it mean even more. The source singer for this recording, Bessie Jones, was born in northwestern Georgia, but her family moved to the southwestern part of the state. She grew up in a musical family, and she started singing very early on in her childhood. Her family worked on farms, and she basically lived as a migrant worker until she was in her early 30s. She picked crops from as far away from home as Connecticut. So by the time she was 30, she'd been married twice already, because sadly her first husband died very young and she remarried. But both husbands were from coastal Georgia. So during her migrant picking years, she visited that area a lot. And in 1933, she and her husband finally moved to St. Simon's in the Sea Islands.
Right. So coastal Georgia and South Carolina is home to a distinctive culture we've already mentioned, known as Gullah in Georgia and known often as Geechee in South Carolina. And that has dialectical features and cultural features that are different from other African American communities around there. The dialect, for example, includes some African features that have been preserved more strongly in that dialect than other African American dialects. And the musical culture includes a lot of intense spiritual singing with polyrhythmic hand clapping, which of course also features in the children's songs as well. And the singing is often accompanied by a form of dance called shout, which is a ring dance. And the shout is actually preserved not only in that region, but in the region where I am as well, in the Delmarva region here in Maryland. And so we're going to pop into the chat some links to videos of some groups, the McIntosh County Shouters from Georgia, from exactly the area where Bessie Jones was active, and the singing and praying bands of Delmarva. Those are going to go in the chat, and you can watch those later. So those are just some examples of the kind of culture that you would find in these coastal and tidewater areas of the country.
So I'm seeing in the chat that Nancy is hearing an echo when I speak. Are all of you hearing an echo or just Nancy?
There's a little echo, Jen, but it's not bad. So I think you should probably
Okay,
just
all
go.
right. I'll carry on. So when Bessie Jones got to the Sea Islands, she was a mainlander. And if you were a mainlander, you were a little bit of an outsider. But because of her personality, she fit in well, and she met up with a group called the Spiritual Singers of Coastal Georgia. And that group was dedicated to preserving their kind of spiritual singing and their very distinctive culture. She was such a good singer, and they liked her so much that she was the only mainlander they ever asked to join the group, and that was quite an honor. The group was all black, but it had been organized by a white neighbor and amateur folklorist, Lydia Parrish, who was the wife of the famous painter Maxfield Parrish. So Parrish published an important book of Georgia spirituals and encouraged other folklorists to come to St. Simon's, including Zora Neale Hurston and Alan Lomax, who visited that area as a team in 1935.
So unfortunately, the dream team of Lomax and Hurston didn't actually meet Bessie Jones in 1935, though she had recently moved there herself. But Alan Lomax came back to St. Simon's in 1959, and he did meet her then. And he was working on a film project with Colonial Williamsburg, and he recruited several singers from the South Sea Islands, including Bessie Jones. So she went to Virginia with Alan Lomax and a large crew of musicians and filmmakers. And she took part in this film, and it was very moving for her because her grandfather had been enslaved in Virginia and had told her about the indignities that he'd suffered there and about his life. And she was kind of acting in a movie about that, and it made her think a lot about it, and it made her feel that she could teach other people about it who didn't know about this important history and could teach other people about her culture. And so she actually took the initiative to go visit Alan Lomax in New York in 1961 and ask him to document her songs and stories. And he did that. And more than that, he helped her organize another group on the lines of the spiritual singers, which were called the Georgia Sea Island Singers. And that was a group that would tour to college campuses and folk festivals teaching people about Gullah culture. And he recorded a lot of their performances and her solo performances, and you can find them at a link that will also pop into the chat.
Let's see, and we're also going to show you a picture of Bessie Jones from the archive. So here comes a picture of Bessie.
Yeah.
There she is.
And I'll say about this picture, this was not her everyday attire. This was actually what she wore in that film. So she was representing a 19th century person living in Virginia at that time, but she normally dressed in,
regular street clothes.
Regular street clothes for her normal wear, and nice performing clothes for being in the group.
Yeah, so now that you've seen Bessie's photo, let's finish up Bessie's story by saying she continued to perform with the group through the 1970s, and she stayed good friends with the Lomax family, including Alan's sister, Bess Hawes, later known as Bess Lomax Hawes. So Bess, who I'm honored to say was a friend of mine from my early days in Washington, D.C., she became the first folk arts director at the National Endowment for the Arts. And it was Bess who dreamed up the National Heritage Fellowship Awards, which is like the Grammys for folk artists. It's the highest honor the U.S. government gives for the folk arts in the U.S. So the first awards were given in 1982, and among that very first awards class, one of the awardees was Bessie Jones. And Bessie died 2 years after that, at 82 years of age. And although we've lost her in the physical, we have over 900 songs, stories, and interview segments with her in the archive at that link that we gave you before.
Right, so just one of these songs is the one we heard today, and that's Little Johnny Brown. So why don't we hear Bessie Jones sing Little Johnny Brown if Joe can arrange that?
Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. For one corner, Johnny Brown, for another corner, Johnny Brown, for another corner, Johnny Brown, for another corner, Johnny Brown. Take it to your lover, Johnny Brown. Take it to your lover, Johnny Brown. Show him your motion, Johnny Brown. Show him your motion, Johnny Brown. Lope like a buzzer, Johnny Brown. Lope like a buzzer, Johnny Brown. Give it to your lover, Johnny Brown. Little Johnny Brown. Where'd you come from?
All right. So that's what Bessie Jones sounded like singing that song with the Georgia Sea Island Singers. That was actually from a concert in New York in 1965, and Alan Lomax recorded that as well. So we'll pop the link for that into the chat as well, so you can listen again later. And there's also another link. So Bessie Jones actually introduced the song, so we have her commentary on it. So we'll pop that in the chat too, so you can listen to those later. After we've talked to Melanie a little bit about this song and her work with it. So
Yeah, Melanie, tell us about your background with this song. When did you first run into it?
Well, I was a founding member of the Grammy-nominated band Linda Tillery and the Cultural Heritage Choir. And if you don't know about Linda Tillery, find out Linda Tillery. But I was the bass singer and the sticker in the band. A sticker is a person who plays the stick, which is a very, very important part of Gullah Geechee music. It's a particular rhythm that's played through many of the songs. And Linda said to me in the early days, she said, "Melly, I want you to play the stick." I'm like, "Oh, okay. What are you talking about?" And so she handed me this 4-foot dowel, and I took to it really, really like it was part of my blood. And my father is from not very far from St. Helena's in that area of South Carolina. But I took to it like, I don't know what happened to me. It was like, okay, this is totally natural to me. And so one of our specialties was music from the Gullah South Sea Islands. And so we learned all of these different kinds of songs. And when we did Johnny Brown, we had a recording called Say Your Business, which is all live performances. And one of the songs that we recorded is Little Johnny Brown. And it was so much fun to do. And I actually sang the lead on the song. And it was just, there's just something about it. It's just, you just can't help but get yourself going. And to understand that in the African American culture and also in Gullah Geechee culture, the idea you have to have a balance between sorrow and jubilee. And so there's always that balance of joy and frivolity, because how else could you maintain without that balance? And so, and there's also all that movement, and with the Gullah Geechee folks, they were able to keep a lot more of their African traditions because they were isolated on the islands. And so that's why Gullah spirituals are very different. They feel different than mainland spirituals because the folks were able to keep a lot of it. And because drums were taken away and all those other kind of things, people would take brooms and hoe handles and pound on the floor of the quarters and turn the whole place into a drum. That making a way out of no way, which becomes every which a way.
right.
That's a great
Yeah,
expression.
absolutely. And we understand that you've got some sticks with you, and you would be willing to demonstrate for us the stick and roll.
I do. And I just happen to have like 8,000 pairs. Now, it with that in that tradition is that you got your feats and because there's always a lot of things going on. And the wonderful thing about this music is that it's not a kind of music that it's not you have to participate. It's a it's not a spectator sport. You have to participate. So that's why you have foot stompers, you have hand clappers, you have dancers. Everybody has to be a part of it. What's wonderful about it is that it's just a little bit more sweet if everybody's in on it. So if all you can do is clap your hands, that's perfect. If all you can do is stomp one foot, that's perfect. All of the it's a thing, it's a music that is made with everybody. Nod your head. Excellent. So you have your stick. It's just a regular dowel, and you got your feet going, and the Gullah rhythm that you hear all the time. Here's my feet going. Here's the Gullah rhythm. And sometimes there'll be variations on a theme because sometimes it just feels good. And then you might have people just clapping here. So you have people doing this, and you might have people clapping on 2 and 4, and you might have somebody with a tambourine. I have my penguin tambourine here. So you have that, you have hand clappers, and then somebody's doing this. Some people might be clapping this rhythm. And to me, this rhythm is sort of like a conduit to freedom, because as it started to feel, people could feel that energy building. And it would get faster. And now, mind you, people would be singing too. That's sticking.
Awesome. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, that's a great demonstration of the sticking. Now that we know a little bit about the history of the recording and the sticks and everything, why don't we go back to the song?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to lead us in one more round of the song?
Absolutely. Nod your head, everybody. Are we ready?
We are ready.
Now, so if you wanted to add that Gullah clap in it, feel free. So this time I'll do, so we have the regular clap, and I'll throw a little bit of the Gullah clap rhythm in it just so you can see how that all fits in. Okay? Excellent. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Here we go. Fold another corner, Johnny Brown. 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 Take it to your lover, 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 Johnny Brown. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Lope like a buzzer, Johnny Brown. 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 Fold another corner, 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 Johnny Brown. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Little Johnny Brown, spread your comfort down. Lope like a buzzer, Johnny Brown. 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 Take it to your lover. Take it to your lover, Johnny Brown. Take it to your lover, Johnny Brown. Take it to your lover, Johnny Brown.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie.
You are welcome.
Great start to the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I wasn't truly awake until you did that.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the hand clapping is another really important part of this tradition, and I'll expand on something that Melanie said before. Um, she said people didn't have drums and stuff. Drums weren't allowed. Uh, Drums, of course, early on in the days of slavery were helpful to slaves in organizing slave revolts because they could be heard over long distances and you could communicate certain ideas just by drumming in African tone languages. So people, the slave owners became frightened of drums and outlawed them in a lot of parts of the African diaspora. And that's one of the reasons why hand clapping and sticking, which basically the great thing about sticking is everybody had to have sticks to do their work, so they couldn't be outlawed, right? And so sticks, were around for brooms, as you said, for handles of hose, for any kind of task that you had to do on a farm, you needed to have sticks, and so those became one of the great percussion instruments in ring shout tradition. So you can see those two in some of the videos that we posted in the chat after the Daily Antidote. So we did just want to say one last thing, which is we promised to give you a little rundown of the archive challenge itself, which is where we encourage people to learn a song from the archive and perform it in their own way. And we've done this in various contexts. We've done it at the Library of Congress in our concert series. We've done it at folk festivals like the Susquehanna Folk Festival, and we've done it at conferences like Folk Alliance, where we get individual people to learn songs and then perform them. But we've also developed tools for people to do this at home, particularly when the pandemic started. We started to think, well, this is a great way to give people something to do while they're stuck in their houses, right? And so we created a set of resources that's all in a blog post that you can find at a link in the chat. And it's called Spending a Lot of Time at Home, Take the Archive Challenge. That was our title.
And you can go as far down the rabbit hole as you like and as you have time for. You just keep researching, listening to our field recordings online until you find one that really floats your boat, and then you have your own way with it. You make a video of it and put a hashtag on it, and then you've participated in the At-Home Archive Challenge.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and of course another way that you can do it is right here on the Daily Antidote of Song. You can participate with some of our song leaders who have learned songs from the archive, and then you can go learn those songs yourselves or other songs from the archive through that blog post. So thank you all for joining us. I guess all we have left to do is to thank Melanie DeMore one more time for coming and sharing that beautiful version of Little Johnny Brown with us, delving into our collections and finding a gem to present to everyone else. We also want to thank our host, Joe Rossi. We want to thank Jaden for doing some of the tech for us here. We want to thank Carpe Diem Arts, and we want to thank all of you, including Carol's friend, whom we love in that particular window. But all of you here, we're so happy to see all of our friends in the Daily Antidote when we come and host these Archive Challenge Thursdays in March.
We know that you have a lot of choices for how you spend your time, and we thank you for choosing to be here with Melanie and with Joe and with us today.
Woo! Thank you so much, Steve and Jen. Thank you so much, Melanie. What an absolutely great day. I can't wait to rewatch it and sing along and jam along to those sticks. That was super fun. So before we actually close out and say goodbyes, I'm going to just toss it to Melanie for a minute. If I'm not wrong, I think maybe you have a performance, a virtual performance or an live performance tonight or tomorrow?
I do, with Betsy Rose.
Yep.
And I believe that, is that at 6, Betsy? Betsy is there. Because Betsy Rose is here. And I believe that it will be myself and Betsy. And Betsy, are you there? I know you're there, Betsy. Help a sister out here.
I'm looking. Yep, there she is. Okay, I got to send her a little unmute. Here we go. Yeah. Betsy Rose.
Where are you, Betsy?
You should be able to unmute. I'm going to do it one more time. Sending you an ask to unmute.
Yes.
Hooray, we did it. Hi. Yeah, hi, Mel. Oh, God. Thanks. Okay, so real briefly, yes, part of my monthly series of community singing online. Melanie's been with me several times, and tonight we're celebrating International Women's Day and Women's Month with a really neat show about the early years of the women's music movement in the U.S., which was around 1974. Well, it goes back further than that, but Kristen Lems started the first National Women's Music Festival in '74. She's going to be with us tonight to sing and to talk a little bit about those early years and what inspired her to start that festival. And then I'm going to be there. I went to that and sang at that festival for a number of years. You did, Mel, I know, and I want to talk to you about that. And Ruth Pelham, from another wonderful song leader that Pete Seeger thought the world of, is going to be with us, who also, I met her at the second National Women's Music Festival. So we're celebrating women in music and the pioneers, of which Melanie is one. So
That's interesting. I never thought of myself that way, but hey.
oh yeah, you are. Oh yeah, you are. Stuff is in the chat. The Zoom link is in the chat, and the invitation is in the chat. You're all most welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
tonight, Beth.
Thank you so much, Betsy Rose. We hope to have you as a song leader in here someday. And also, I'm going to poke Peter Amadon. I'm going to poke Kate Munger to do archive challenges because it was sure would be fun to have you guys on board. And let me just toss it to Steve and Jen for a second. Do you guys have any events coming up at the library that you want to mention? Any Folklife Center concerts coming up? Or and if not, we'll just keep going.
Yes, we do. Not imminently, but in April, April 22nd, we have Speli Menninir, which is a group from Scandinavia. They're from the Faroe Islands, although not all the members are from the Faroe Islands. So they've got members from Denmark, from Sweden, and from the United States. And so that's it's sort of a pan-Scandinavian band, and we'll have that April 22nd. That's a noontime concert at the library, and then we have Kathy Fink and Marcy Markser with Chow Tian doing their From China to Appalachia celebration, and I'm just going to direct you to our website, which is loc.gov/concerts, and you look for Folklife concerts because I don't have that date in my brain right now. But those are the two concerts that we have scheduled that are coming up. So thanks for bringing that up, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. And in our other hats as Folklore Society of Greater Washington program chairs, we'd also like to mention that we have a concert coming up of Claire Sands. She's a bilingual Irish fiddler and singer, and she's going to be at Seeker's Church in Tacoma, D.C. on March 22nd for Irish American Heritage Month and Irish Heritage Month, and also Women's Month. So she is one of the great women in Celtic music, and she performs with the energy of a fierce warrior goddess. So come on out to that one as well. It's going to be great. Free for members.
Thank you so much, Jen and Steve and Melanie and Betsy Rose, for sharing all of that. So some of those things may or may not have virtual components. Please go ahead and check out links. And for those of you who are local, join when you can, or local to those events. And for those of you who can join virtually, please do. So it's a great segue, as Jen mentioned, women and Irish history, because I'm going to throw out one last event. So on Tuesday, March 21, our monthly community sing. This month we have Kathy Bullock, we have Morris Smiley, we have Brendan Taff, and we have Dawn Pemberton, and that's 6:30 Eastern, and it is virtual and free. So please join us for that. Those, I think it's going to be a super fun one because those are for artists who've actually all worked with each other in various contexts. So we're going to do it round robin style. They're just going to keep tossing songs around. And we hope you'll join us there. And I'm going to just say very quickly, unless I have it wrong, that one of our community members, Charlie Pilzer, is in Spelling
Menninir. He is indeed. He is the bass player in Spelling Menninir. He's a resident of wonderful Tacoma Park, just like Jennifer and me. But he voyages to the Faroe Islands every so often to practice with his band. So it's kind of an international collaboration. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out too.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Steve and Jen. 3 cheers for Tacoma Park, which is also where I am coming from. And we just had Melanie in town recently doing something at a UU church. Mel, is that actually recorded or was it only live?
I don't know. I was there. I'm sure it is recorded, but I was working with the All Souls UU Church and the Jubilee, their Jubilee Singers, which was founded by the extraordinary Izai Barnwell.
Yeah.
And so Izai was there at the Sunday service, which was wonderful to see her. And I loved being there. That church has been there for over 150 years in DC, doing great, great work. And I
Great.
love being there. Jojo, I'm so sorry we didn't actually get to see each other in the flesh.
I know. That's all right. Soon enough. You talked about Issei hugging the stuffing out of you, and I got
Yeah,
super jealous because that's
yeah.
like, I was just waiting for my moment. So next time. Um, all right, gang. I want to thank everybody so much again for being here. What a beautiful crowd. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. I hope you'll join us again tomorrow and at the Sing and at all the fabulous events you heard about today. Let's give up one more hand for Steve Winick, Jennifer Cutting from the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress. Thanks for an archive challenge. Next up in the archive challenge Thursdays, we have Betty Sue. Who's been in the room with us before. Please join us for that. And thanks again, of course, to Melanie DeMore. Everybody, please help me. Mel, we love having you in here. Thank you so much. All right, let's say goodbye to all the folks in the room. Jaden, thanks again for running tech today. Bye, Martha in Oregon. Bye, Laris in the UK. Bye, Jacqueline in Baltimore. Bye, Arlene in Berkeley. Bye, Jody, new to us today. Oh, I forgot to say, anybody who's new to us today and wants to stay in the room after everyone drops, we'll unmute you. You can let us know how you found us, where you're coming from, and we'll try and talk you back into coming tomorrow. Okay. Thanks again, Jody, and thanks to Bob in Albany. Kate, thanks again for being here, and again for a fabulous song yesterday. Bonnie Schuster, thanks so much for being here today. Pauline and William in Newcastle, UK, thank you. Peter Amadon, I'm going to throw out, check out the chat where Peter was talking about Rise, Sally Rise, and how they dedicated it, I think, to Bessie Smith in their songbook. So thank you, Peter, for throwing that in there. And Peter, we can't wait to sing with you again. Cricket in Maryland, thank you so much. Leah in Illinois, thank you. Kevin in DC with the golden flute. Thank you, Deborah in Kentucky for some dancing. Sheila in Florida, thank you. Kathleen in Albuquerque. Susan in Seattle. Linda in Orcas Island. Kathy coming in from McLean, Virginia. Amanda and Miles in Michigan. Phil in Totnes, UK. Isabel in Florida, great to see your face again today. Carol and Carol's friend, glad to have both of you with us today. Annette in California, thank you for being here today. And Ann in Nashville, Bob and Mabel and the Bears in Massachusetts. Linda, the Bears just woke up. Linda, thank you so much for being here. Not sure where you're coming from. I think you're new today. Please stay if you can. Kim in British Columbia, thank you so much for being here. One of our singers, and we love having you here. Dory and Ollie in Rhode Island, thank you. Storm in Mass, thank you. Susan in Ohio, thank you. Kathy and Chico, thank you. In Colorado. Dr. Jim Thorne, can't remember where you're from, but glad you're here again. Ann in Maryland. Gary in Massachusetts. I need a lot of breaths today. Carolyn in Boise. Dawn in Vermont. Libby, thanks for being here. I think also new today. Curly Tops 1, 2, and 3. That's Willard, Alice, May, and Leanna. Great to have all of you here from Vermont. Hoda in British Columbia. Deli in Maryland. Harriet in Chicago. Jane in Texas. Aloysius in Mass. Penny and Ralph in Victoria. Hello and hello. Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State. Carol in Connecticut. Karen in Oregon. Caroline in DC. Jenny in Suffolk, UK. Lynn in Connecticut. Dick and Kathy, singer-songwriter or singer-song leaders in here. Thanks for being here from Victoria, BC. Amos in Massachusetts. I think I got everybody. Now let's all seriously take a breath. It's really, really nice to have you all here. Thanks again, everybody on the live stream. Can't wait till you join us tomorrow.